Welcome back to another episode of Dentside Depot. Today we're continuing with our 12-valve Fummins swap 1979 F350 4x4 X36 truck. The frame is nearly done. The Dana 80 has been mocked in. Everything else on the frame is done. We are on to the very last part of frame modification today, and that is going to be cutting out this front cross member. Why? Because I'm going to be using the factory low mount AC, so it's going to hit right here. In addition, I really don't even want to do all this fabrication to keep this in, and we're going to add another bracket in the front, so we're going to have all the stability that we need. So we need to cut this piece flush with the frame rail right here on this side, and because we're cutting it flush on this side, well, I just want to make it look nice, so I'm going to do essentially the same thing on this side. You can see it's angled right here, so it's going to be difficult to get a sawzall in, or excuse me, to get the sawzall started, because obviously it'd be on an angle. So we got to do it with a 4-inch grinder. But to get the majority of the bracket out of the way first, I'm actually going to slice it here and slice it here and see if we can get this thing out of the way, and then switch over to the grinder. So let's get to it. Here we go. Yeah, and the blade's getting stuck because the frame's bending in on itself, which I had a feeling might happen. Okay, well, maybe I should have cut it in the middle first. All right, so let's do this. Let's pull that out and let's cut it in the middle with another sawzall. And that's getting stuck as well. Great. Well, so the answer to that question, well, loosen this one up a little bit. Okay, so I think the answer is go right to the 4-inch grinder. So let's give that a shot here. Oh yeah, she snapped all right. All right. Okay. So that definitely came apart a little bit, as you can see, leaving that pressure. So now let's try cutting this out the rest of the way. And by the way, I'm going to re-square the frame in the front with the bracket I'm going to be using, so you don't need to worry about, you know, this being off a little bit there. That'll be fixed once I get to that point, but that's why I'm obviously cutting this with the Auto World Conversions bracket still in it. Okay, success after some failures there. All right, so now we can see the inside of the frame, and the goal is going to be to slice it right here and slice it right here. I'm gonna hack this side off with the the Sawzall next, and then I'm gonna mark this and we're gonna cut it, and we're gonna see how we get this thing to look. And by the way, what I'm doing here is what Auto World Conversions actually recommends, and I've seen other guys do it as well. And again, we are going to re-square the frame in the front here. I'm a little concerned that it did pop down here about 1/8 of an inch, but we'll get that squared up and fixed up. So trust me, this frame's going to be nice and strong when it's done. It's not going anywhere until I feel good about it. So let me make these other cuts and then we'll get to the next cut. All right, so I have both sides completely cut out, and actually this side I did really nice with the Sawzall, and I'm actually just gonna leave it that way. Okay, obviously we're gonna fill it in with metal later, but I'm actually happy with where that's at. I think that's gonna look visually appealing, and I'll just leave all this structure in here, especially considering that's the power steering box is on this side. Leave a little more rigidity in it. We're gonna fill all this. Now this is the side that it matters, where it needs to be completely 100% flush. So I lined a straight edge here and then a straight edge on the other straight edge and marked the line where it needs to be completely straight, because if this is not completely cut out, the AC bracket is not going to fit. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm not going to film it because I'm going to be going very slow. It's going to take me a while because I want it to be perfect. I'm going to be cutting it with the grinder all the way around. So this edge here comes all the way out to here and it's flush. Okay, so I have it all cut out on this side, and I did cut it in multiple pieces. It was not one single piece when I cut it out. So here's the plan. Looking at it from the top, I'm gonna plate it. You can see the straight edge fits across. So I'm gonna plate it, leaving a little bit, maybe an 1/8 inch gap, and weld all the way around, and I'll probably drill some holes right here to get some welds into that bar that goes across as well. And then this will be plated in. And then the plan on this side is also to plate it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm either going to put the plate on the interior and maybe weld this together right here, or I'll just do it from the face. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. I'm going to take a little lunch break here and think about what I want to do, and then we'll start making some templates. All right, so I got my pieces of metal cut out here, ready to be welded in. So the way I did this was, I just made some cardboard templates first, just using a pencil and a pair of scissors. Pretty simple. That was that. Then I transferred that over to my plated metal. And my plasma cutter decided to call in sick to work today, so I had to do it with the grinder, but that's all right. So I got it cut out, so I'll have nice even sides going all the way around, and I've beveled the edges of the plate, so I got a nice spot to drop the bead in. And then the goal is that I have the plate set right here, so this will be connected, and then in this plate I'm going to drill some holes right here, so I can, you know, maybe 4 little welds in there to kind of connect it together a little bit better. I don't know, maybe 3. We'll see. I'm going to drill that out in a second. And the same thing on the other side. You can see how it, which side was this? There we go. Just like that. Same thing. Beveled the edges, so I'll be able to lay a nice bead in there, and it should be pretty good. I think it should look pretty nice, and so I'm going to do that now, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'm getting very close to being done, and then I thought, you know what, for someone who's doing this, they're probably going to want to see what this looks like. So what I've done is, you can see I've beveled the edges, so now I can just work my way up from the bottom and just lay a nice bead. So I'm tying in the two pieces together, so everything is welded together. And then in addition, see how I drilled those 3 holes right there? I used the step bit so I can get a nice cherry bomb in those 3 holes, and then that way that piece is also tied in, and this is tied in, and everything is tied in and welded nice and tight together. So I'm gonna rock and roll on this now, and then I'll show you what the final product looks like here shortly. All right, and we are done. That was a pretty long day of work. Came out pretty good. I'd have a little more grinding I need to do on it and polishing to make it look really super nice, but you can see it's nice flat edge here. Oh, it's still warm. Nice flat edge here, so I'm hoping that my air conditioning will fit in perfect, and really I can't make it any flatter than what it is. So if it doesn't fit, then nothing I can do about that. Filled in this gap here. I made a little triangle and filled that gap in. A little bonus, I welded in some nuts on each side for grounds. Same thing on this side, fill, bead, little triangle to fill that in, and another nut and bolt, so I have a ground. So when you think about this frame no longer has a welded connection from one side to the other, so I'm definitely going to want to ground the engine and the body on both sides of the frame to make sure that I don't run into any issues. For sure, that's definitely going to be important, and that's getting a problem fixed before it even starts right there. So really happy with how this came out. This side is sticking out a little bit farther than the other side, but I figured I'll leave a little more material here since that side does have the power steering box. But I'm really happy with it. I'm not, you know, I'm not a pro welder, but it's definitely good enough. Had a good burn on both sides, and I'm confident that it's going to be nice and strong. So I'm going to clean it up a little bit more tomorrow, make it look a little nicer, and then get some POR 15 on it and on to the next. So if you like my content, remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.